Good morning, Michael.
Hi there.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Hey, it's busy at your house and my house, right?
It is?
Your house and my house? Yeah, busy.
Yeah, no, it is. Actually, it's not. We've had a quiet time because the three kids have been up to our cottage for the last 10 days.
Oh, nice.
So
Oh,
I think
weather.
it's actually turned out to be summertime up there, like 22 degrees.
Yeah, it's incredible here. Yeah, it's just probably as warm as it is in July sometimes.
Yeah, no, it's a kind of a fluke, but it's a good one.
It is so. It is so.
Yeah.
You got a minute to just answer those questions?
Yeah. I've been, how are you doing? Are you busy these days?
Yeah, on Zoom. I'm a bit tired of Zoom.
Yeah, I guess.
What about
Yeah,
you?
we've been doing all kinds all over the place.
Yeah,
Some with NPDL, but also some on my own that I'm doing
good.
with different countries that are
Yeah,
focusing on their policy, like Wales, Czechoslovakia, a couple of others. So
excellent, excellent. Yeah, I've been, it's good because it's Easter break right now in Australia, so that's a good thing. Um,
yeah, yeah,
but I've been busy in Australia and Wales and yeah, here, which is good.
yeah.
But Zoom has its benefits, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it certainly has. Once you start using it more selectively,
Yeah.
it's you cover a lot of ground for sure, and you save the number of hours saved in travel, as you know, is enormous. So
And yeah,
you can
wear and
actually
tear on
keep at a
us.
pace. Yeah,
That's good.
but yeah. Anyway, I'm going to keep. We've got a number of things that keep coming at us, so I'm
Yeah,
responding to them and focusing on them, fitting them in, and
good.
developing a lot of new material. So that's good.
Which is really what it where it's at, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
So
So
we've
how's everybody? How's Jim doing?
yeah, he's good. He just got a checkup from his surgeon that says his arm is showing growth,
Wow.
which the chief surgeon who did the 4 previous operations said there will never be any growth.
Huh.
So the fifth surgeon was after this fellow had retired, and she did something different, and it's showing growth.
Yeah, there's some miracles going on sometimes.
Unbelievable. Like, I think we've been fighting this since 2010.
Yeah, well, that's a huge swath of time.
Yeah, but he doesn't complain. He just keeps going. So
No, he's stoic. I don't know where his core is, but it's something.
yeah, it's really strong, and he's a great role model for the kids and grandkids because
Yeah,
you never know there's anything wrong. There are some things that with his left arm he can't do, but no, with
yeah,
the right arm, but
right on. Yeah,
doesn't stop him.
good.
How
Well, I'm
about
glad to
you?
hear that.
How are you doing? And
Good.
when?
Yeah, I'm. It's pretty much settled into. I had a defibrillator put in my chest. I think I've been on about a year
Yeah,
ago.
yeah,
So they last for 5 years, and I've just finished year one, so there's no difference other than it predicts my heartbeat better.
okay. And so it's been fine.
Yeah, yeah, it's been totally fine.
Isn't that good?
Yeah, so I'm actually, I mean, I still have a little trouble with my back and legs a little bit, but
Hmm.
I'm doing modest exercises on the treadmill, so
Yeah,
like I can't run so easily, but I can get around, and it doesn't bother me when I'm sitting or lying at all. So it's not one of those constant things.
yeah, yeah. That's really good. They are doing some remarkable things, aren't they?
Yeah, yeah.
To keep us.
So on our book here, I think
Oh, good for you.
I have it ready at my fingertips. Yeah, I
I
think generally I thought the most straightforward thing was, I don't know, just to be specific, it doesn't, don't mean this to be a literally only thing we
yeah,
would do, but if you did a initial front end commentary and then a commentary at the end of each chapter,
yeah,
then just that, I mean, that's a lot, but not long stuff, but just
yeah,
making that up. And then I would add to the front end in each chapter my own commentary, and
yeah,
then together we could do the wrap up,
yeah,
looking forward and consolidating, but
yeah.
leave the wrap up until we've done the other ones.
Okay. And yeah, that sounds good. So front end, I'll start, and then I thought I would find some more recent case studies,
Yeah,
and I'll put those in.
yeah, that would be good. I mean, I
Yeah,
have case examples because when I write my books, Nuance and that, I'm drawing on cases. So they're not geared to faces cases, but they're relevant for leadership and getting change. So
yeah,
I will be able to draw on concrete things that
excellent.
as I go, not just my opinions.
Okay. And so I'll do case studies and a bit of a commentary, like lessons learned or something, and then you do
Yeah,
a commentary as well.
yeah,
Okay. And then at the end, we'll write something together.
yeah. And when I like to do it all in a sense all at once, and I'm fairly fast over 3 or 4 days. I can do a lot. So once I have something from you, I can go
Okay.
quickly.
Okay. Sounds good. And I think they're doing some kind of review first. So that gives me a bit of time
Yeah.
to get the reviewers'
Okay.
comments.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So it's interesting to think back. I think it was 2002 when we invited you to come and be our critical friend, knowledgeable other in York Region. And
Yeah.
and then I think you brought in your colleagues from U of T, right? From OIZ,
Probably Carol, and then eventually Joanne
and then Blair.
Blair. Yeah.
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 And then we did the literacy collaborative, and you always the three or four of you did that beginning each time. And
Yeah.
um, and then we wrote our first book in 2009
Right. Yeah.
about that work. And then in 2012 we wrote Faces. And
Yeah.
we did a few journal articles in between, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very productive in terms of foundational stuff of our thinking.
Absolutely. So
Yeah.
where do you think we've been since then, since 2012, 10 years on?
Well, I don't. I'm thinking. Did I send you?
Yeah.
I did a report on. I released it February 12th called "The Right Drivers,"
Yes.
a new
Yeah.
version. I sent you that, I think.
Yes. Yeah.
So, so that's where my thinking is really trying to see how we transform the system. And then when I look at the big picture, broadly, what I see is we had enormously productive decade, 2002 to 2012. You
Absolutely.
did, we
Yeah.
did,
Yeah.
me with Dalton McGuinty,
Yeah.
and it was really great.
Mhm.
And then from 2012 to the present, it's been weak, I guess I'll say, and bumpy. I'm
Yeah.
talking about the world too, and I
Yeah.
include Ontario, and I include Kathleen Wynne's term about 5 years, because although she had the right ideas, it never really got situated well. And
No.
then when I look around the world, that macro analysis I did about the economy was, we had the big recession in 2008 to 10, and
Yeah.
it rebounded on it hurt the poor more. The banks did fine that, but there was it just was part and parcel of the growing inequality financially that
Yeah.
started in 1980 and went to the present. So in this, I'm talking to, rambling a bit, but my point is, and I quoted in the Right Drivers Report a nice book that came out about 6 months ago from Robert Putnam called Upswing.
Right.
And he did this analysis, he and his colleague, going back about, I know, almost 100 years. And they grabbed these periods that they call I-ness or we-ness.
Hmm.
And I-ness is self-centered, and
Yeah.
Donald Trump is the epitome of that. And we-ness is when there's some degree of wanting to do something for the public good.
Yeah.
So you really actually see, and if we take the US, because they keep track of the data, they don't change as much as they should, but the data, and you see that the I-ness period after the Second World War till about, almost to the time I'm talking about here at the end of, let's say 2008 or so.
Yeah.
And then you get this I-ness period all the way through up, and it actually started a bit before that, all the way up to now the recent present. And then you get now the present we're in now, or the time we're in now, is possibly a rebound into a more positive we-ness
Hmm.
phenomenon.
Yeah.
So if I go back to your literal question, I think we had, you may have a different interpretation. You and I had a good heyday in the decade 2002
Yeah.
to 2012.
Yeah.
Then we did our individual stuff in the
Yeah.
last 10 years, but
Yeah.
system stuff wasn't very impressive.
No.
And now we're back into the possibility of system stuff.
Yeah.
Does
And
that make sense?
yeah, absolutely. And when it's interesting you say that, because in Faces we wrote excuse me, we wrote that we needed to move from an I culture to a we culture. That was something that we talked about throughout it, and that was really manifested in putting faces on the data. Uh,
Yeah,
it's all about our collective responsibility and accountability. I even remember us writing about responsibility comes first, and then you said, and if that happens, accountability just falls in line.
yeah, yeah.
And
So we can pick up these, we can thread these themes now. It'll make it more interesting, the revision.
absolutely, looking back and then looking forward.
Yeah, yeah,
Absolutely. And my work has really been about systems, but also classrooms and how we really have to focus on that strong pedagogy, which
yeah,
seems been lost along the way.
yes, yeah.
So do you write about that or think about that?
Well, the pedagogy is certainly in our NPDL. We have the four elements of the learning design,
Yeah,
which are pedagogy, partnerships, in classroom environment, and digital.
yeah,
So
yeah,
those are well worked out as
yeah.
deepening and broadening the pedagogy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the one thing that we didn't touch on in Faces was the influence of technology.
Mhm.
Talked a lot about leadership and putting faces on the data, knowing the students in the classroom. And we talked a lot about pedagogy assessment that drives instruction. But certainly the technology didn't take center stage.
Yeah, yeah, I think we can, I mean, it should be, now, I don't know what you have been discovering, but the relationship between technology and data use is
Yeah,
certainly can
yeah,
be prominent and
yeah.
should be prominent.
Yeah, absolutely. And I say that all data is helpful if you have the interpretation that's precise. So
Yeah,
it's really all about interpretation. But I think the best data is that data closest to the classroom that informs instruction.
yeah. So, and then the one theme on my mind actually for us is, and I wanted to ask you your opinion, is the more that we've worked on the 6 Cs and the more that the debate has evolved around the problem with standardized tests,
Mhm.
that it, and we're now anyway, to jump way ahead into where my point is, right now there's an interesting policy debate in Australia, for example, that I'm part of, to come up with alternative measures to academic measures.
Mhm.
And so Sandra Milligan, you may or may not know her, she's the head of the assessment center at Melbourne Graduate School. And she has this big project working with 80 schools where they're co-developing new measures they call the new metrics.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these are the metrics around some of the 6 Cs and that. So I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, and if I were to sharpen it as a criticism of what I'm getting at, is that to refine the way in which the academic subjects are assessed is only part of the point. The bigger point is to have assessments that are more tied into purpose, engagement, uh, people's sense of efficacy and purpose, all of those things. And
Mhm.
do you think those will be able to be woven in to our revision?
Yeah, I think they need to be. And purpose is huge. Why are we doing this? Is
Yeah,
so for me, it has to be about the faces, has to be about the data, whether it's a nation or a region or a system. So I think they really need to focus on, yes, well-being as part of it, and academics, excuse me, academics is part of it. But I think it needs to focus on student work. And I don't know how
yeah.
that looks. What do you think? How do you think that looks at a system level or a national level?
Well, I think I mentioned the new metrics that are coming out now. They're being able to be used. I just think of a recent example. I'm working with a few districts in the US, and one of them is Jefferson County, which is in Louisville, Kentucky. So
Yeah.
it's a big district and it's got all kinds of poverty and race problems and that. And what they do, I sat in on, listened to some, they do at year 5, 8, and 12.
Yeah,
The individual students give an account of what they're learning around a set of rubrics about engagement and purpose, and that to a peer group of 3 or 4 teachers or administrators. And 100% of the students do that, 100% of grade year 5, 8, and 12. So they're into qualitative measures like crazy, which
absolutely.
brings out meaning and purpose. And
Yeah.
the students have to present the indicators they have for the concepts that they're working on.
Absolutely. And I think that, the work there is the workup of what are the outcomes we want for each of our students? How do we want them
Yeah,
to articulate their learning? But
yeah,
it really goes back to our 5 questions, doesn't it? If kids can answer those 5 questions, what are you learning and why? How
yeah,
do you know how you're doing? How can you improve? Where do you go for help? And there are 5 of them. I can't remember them all, but I think those 5 questions need to be the standard. And so for me, in the work that I'm doing, those 5 questions become a tool to measure not only impact in the classroom, but also those 5 questions are questions for teachers and for leaders.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good organizer, and hopefully in that journey, you'll be able to tell us, we'll be able to tell people where those 5 questions have taken us, because
Yeah.
the answers will be different in 2021 than they were in, 2005 or something.
But when teachers think about these 5 questions and they try them out on their students and their students can't answer any of them, that
Yeah,
feedback to them that they're
yeah,
not having the impact they need to have. And the same with leaders and teachers.
yeah,
So I think the questions that we started with in phases really can make a difference in determining, successful graduates, I guess, critical thinkers.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, it'd be good to really have a nice final chapter about where this work is taking us.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So one of the things I think that we need to think about is that technology piece and
Yeah,
how it's an enabler or not,
yeah, yeah.
and what we've learned in COVID.
Hmm.
What do you think we've learned?
Well, we just did, send you, we did a short paper called, we did 2 papers. One was, I'm talking about the MPDL core group now. One was called Education Reimagined, and it was fine. And we just did 10 tips for coming out of COVID.
Mhm.
So when I get off today, I'll send that to you. And it basically says, don't approach it as a loss of learning phenomenon.
Yeah.
Approach it as a lift of learning. And what does lift look like? And I think what we've learned about is more important role of parents
Yes.
than before.
Yeah.
So an opportunity to involve parents in a way we haven't before.
Yeah.
Secondly, that students now on a minimal level have become accustomed to technology, but also both students and teachers are learning about the do's and don'ts of technology. Don't overuse it. Don't use it for routine things in the
Yeah.
wrong way. So I think there's our attitude towards COVID is that it really has kind of cleared the decks, and now is the time to pick up the pieces and say, what are the good pieces, and
Exactly.
what are the ones that weren't good anyways? Here's
Yeah.
a chance to toss them.
Absolutely. And I've just noticed that new leaders have stepped up that we actually didn't
Yeah,
existed. So lots of people have been supporting, teachers, and teacher leaders have been supporting each other in learning together. But the learning that teachers have done as they've delivered the technology is really sensational.
yeah, yeah.
And
Broadening the base of leadership is a good theme, I think.
absolutely. And I
Yeah,
guess the other one I've learned is that students can teach if teachers and leaders, if they're open, if they got that open to learning stance. And the other one is about parents. They really appreciate that specificity of knowing
yeah,
what's expected. So those
yeah,
6 criteria become really important. And I've had that feedback from parents. They've really appreciated the specificity of the learning intentions, the success criteria to work with the students at home.
Yeah, good. Well, those are the things we should, capture in
Right.
this revision,
Yeah.
because they kind of pull out and make it more exciting about,
Yeah.
we're talking here not just about, our book was on the right track, and now it's conducive as a platform to leverage the learning of the pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely. So we could make that exciting announcement that we're looking at faces again, having our
Yeah,
anniversary.
yeah, yeah. No, I think we can hype it up. Let's get some of the substance of it, and then will become obvious, and we want to really use it as not just a boring revision, but this is an enlivening of the phenomenon.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. I think that's good. Is there anything we haven't thought about?
I don't think so. I wanted to ask you another question. Are you in contact with Brisbane Catholic at all?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's Pam was going in for a triple heart
Yes.
transplant. Did you? Would have been a couple of weeks ago.
That, yeah. And so she's really on leave. I know that she had a 5-year renewal of her contract. And
Yeah,
so now she's taking a leave, and I think there's talk about her, retiring. So
right.
I keep in touch quite constantly with Derek Totten, who is now the director of teaching and learning. And he was
Yeah,
at the time an area supervisor, great guy. And also Dave Gregg. He was the former director of teaching and learning, and now he's the assistant, I don't know, deputy with beside Pam and Doug Ashby as well.
yeah,
So do
yeah.
you?
I know Derek fairly well. I like him a lot.
Yeah, he's great. He's
Yeah.
really good. I find that these people move around from place to place,
They
because
do.
people are popping up. So Paul Thompson worked in Lismore, and then I found him in Brisbane. The Catholic folks especially move around from diocese to diocese. So
Yeah, yeah. It's a small world there. I
it,
guess there's not that many of them in a way, because they tend to be in large districts,
yeah,
Catholics.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I haven't directly spoken with Pam, but I do directly speak with Dave. Um,
yeah,
I'm not sure. My thoughts are that they really haven't moved forward in any aligned way.
yeah. I was a bit disappointed in the slowness of the movement there.
Yeah, I
Um,
thought Doug would have come in, and he really had, I think, some energy at the beginning. But this stuff wears you down,
does it ever? Yeah,
doesn't it?
yeah,
So you're not used to. So I'm not sure where they are and where they are at.
yeah,
You remember when we first started there, we worked with them, and so did John Hattie. So you and I and John Hattie, they had
yeah,
everything going, and they were moving right along. Not
yeah.
so,
They're like Parameta,
yeah,
bringing in all kinds of things, but not consolidating all that much.
absolutely. So now Parameta has shifted to project-based learning. But I said, project-based learning is only one thing of a whole
Yeah,
system. Implementation. I think implementation kills us, doesn't it?
yeah,
Can't stay the course.
yeah. That's right. So anyway, it'll be great to trade ideas and develop ideas together.
Yeah, sounds great. Yeah,
And
so
just
much.
give me, I'll be ready to pounce on it, because I'm flexible with my work now, so you
Okay.
do your share of what it is, whether it takes 2 months, whatever, 6 weeks, then we'll move fast from there.
Okay. So I'll collect those case studies, and I think we've got till next December, right?
I think so, yeah, yeah.
That's a good thing. Okay. All right. Well,
Okay,
thank
it'd be good to do. So
you. That'd be
I'll be
great.
ready. Yeah,
Okay.
we'll trade ideas anyways as we go, just ad hoc ideas to
Sure.
keep the pot boiling.
Okay. And I've written some articles too. So send me your one that you're
Yeah.
thinking of, and I'll send you some of the ones I've been doing too.
Okay, will do, right away.
Thanks.
Okay,
Thanks, Michael.
yeah, have a good weekend then.
Talk soon.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.